Hey everyone, it's Ashley. Welcome back. Once again, I'm sorry it has been so long since I've uploaded. I'm having like midlife crisis with trying to figure out what to do with my channel, what I want to do, what makes me happy. And then at the same time, I had a death in the family, so I had to fly home for that for a couple of days. So between those two things, I feel completely lost. So I need a little bit of normalcy in my life right now. So today's video is going to be a little bit different. So today I'm going to have my husband help me out a little bit in this video, and me being a molecular biologist and him being an aerospace engineering student, we have a lot of nerdy conversations. It's usually me asking him questions about space and stuff like that that I really don't understand. So if you want to come in here, there you go. So normally I ask Ryan a lot of weird questions, like for example, he doesn't know I'm going to ask him this. Why is the sky blue?
Well, it has to do with the wavelength of blue light. It's the wavelength that can get through the atmosphere at multiple angles. So we see blue because that's what makes it through the atmosphere.
And is that why the ocean is blue?
Well,
that's a whole different thing.
Yes, no. I mean,
okay.
Refraction of light through water is different, but...
Okay.
Yeah.
So that's an example of like conversations that we have all the time. So I am going to ask Ryan a question, which is something we recently talked about, so he's a little bit prepped. And at the same time, I'm going to be off to my side doing like, just doing my makeup, kind of like a get ready with me, but you're not getting to know me, you're going to get to know some science. So that way I'm still doing my makeup and still doing some science in this video, but thank you to my husband Ryan for jumping in here because this is stuff I definitely cannot explain. So, as always, I gotta put my hair back with my ears.
I didn't bring my ears.
Well, I have the extra glittery pair, I can get you those. So my question today is, how do we know the circumference of the Earth? Because like, I know that was figured out a very long time ago. Like, who did it and how did they do it?
The first person to do it?
Yeah.
A man by the name of Eratosthenes, who was a Greek, calculated the circumference of the Earth using shadows 2,200 years ago, so in the 3rd century BC.
What?
He did it with striking accuracy, and the difference in, or the error in the measurement had to do with a very imprecise unit of measure they used in those days called the stade, which was based off the length of an Olympic foot race. So it actually changed depending on the stadium that was used for the Olympic foot races, but even with that, he was within 15 to 10% off of what we measure the circumference to be now, with a lot more precise tools. Like,
I wouldn't know how to do it now, because obviously that's not my area of expertise, but that's crazy.
Yeah, it would be tricky. So, obviously, we can see the Earth from space.
Uh-huh.
We have...
And it's round.
Right.
That might be another video. Comment if you want to hear all the different arguments for flat Earth and how you can shut them up for those different arguments. Ryan has a lot of them.
It may make you lose brain cells, though, so...
I can't watch them. I will literally get angry, so yeah. I stay away from them. Anyway.
Yeah, anyway, we have much more precise units of measure, and it's a lot easier to measure the circumference of the Earth now because we know its size based on images. We know it's not a perfect sphere either. It's actually an oblate sphere. It bulges out at the equators a little bit because it's rotating.
How did he figure that out?
So yeah,
like that long ago.
Back to Eratosthenes. So he worked and lived in the town of Alexandria. He was actually later in life, after this experiment, he became the chief librarian at the Library of Alexandria.
Where is that?
That is in Egypt.
Okay.
Northern Egypt, I believe.
Oh, side note, I am going to have in the description box below all the products I am using. So just in case you're wondering what I'm doing. So sorry to interrupt you.
Oh, no.
Sorry.
That's good. But he used a stick in the ground and measured the length of the shadow it cast from the sun based on its position relative to 2 points on the globe. Now, because it was, I think like 260 BC, they knew the distance between two cities, Alexandria, where he was, and the city of Syene, which I believe is Anwar now. That city is pretty much at the same latitude as the Earth's tilt. So he knew that on the summer solstice, which is the day when the sun is at its highest point at noon, in Syene, the sun would be directly overhead.
Gotcha.
If he had the distance between the two cities, between Syene and Alexandria, and he can measure the length of the shadow cast by a stick, that he can also measure its length, he can calculate the angle of the sunlight hitting the stick.
Can I stop? Can I ask questions?
Yeah.
How did he know the sun was going to be the highest?
Okay.
How did it, I can look up in the sky and be like, I don't know.
Observation. So the example used in I guess his history or the account of this experiment was, he knew that if he looked down into a well at noon in Syene, you would see no difference of image, and basically every vertical structure would have no shadow.
Okay.
Which observationally means basically the sun is directly overhead. Worked out for him because they knew the distance between the two cities, which again was measured in a stade, or which was stadia for plural.
So weird.
Yeah, so they estimated 5,000 stadia between Alexandria and Syene. So I will draw a little picture here showing exactly what was pretty much done. So if we have the sun out here, sun.
Poor camera does not know where to focus. I'm so sorry. No.
So I'm just going to connect these points as if you're like on a curved surface, like the Earth is.
I'm so sorry, guys. We literally don't know what we're doing here.
Should I just draw the picture first, kind of explain it?
Yeah, go for it.
I'll draw it a little better, and then we don't have to have this all.
All right, so we'll cut and get to it. All right, thank you for bearing with us. Okay, continue.
Okay, so after I have this up here now, this is basically what he did. The sunlight is directly overhead of Syene, and it's not directly overhead of Alexandria. So knowing the length of the stick he had in Alexandria, which is the point at the top, and the length of the shadow, he can measure the angle, and he measured it to be about 1/50th of a circle, and it roughly comes out to be about 7 degrees. So multiplying 50 times the distance between the two cities, 5,000 stadia, gives you a total circumference of 250,000 stadia. Now, the unit of measure, one stade, it was believed to be about 176 meters at that time, but there's differences. So taking into account what the stade was at his time and then what the stade later eventually became, in kilometers, the total circumference would have come out to be about 44,100 kilometers or 46,100 kilometers. So the actual circumference is just over 40,000 kilometers. So it was like a 10 to 15% difference of what he calculated 2,200 years ago to what we can calculate now with surprising, what's the word, confidence. Yeah, so that error wouldn't be so great nowadays, but considering the tools he had and only using observation and what math he knew, he knew a lot of math. He was actually a mathematician, one of his trades, was amazing that someone could measure the circumference of the Earth that long ago. And it's also observations like this is one of the reasons why we've known the Earth is round for centuries, and actually millennia, and even known the Earth is round before we knew that the sun was at the center of the solar system. So observation is a powerful thing, and I think it's just a simple test that you and I can go out and do now if we wanted to.
Yeah.
We would get more accurate results because we would have much better units of measure. But yeah.
Than sticks and...
Right.
That's pretty cool.
If you find a spot that's directly underneath the sun, which would be somewhere around 24 degrees latitude.
And can we do it on any day, or does it have to be on summer solstice?
You can do it on any day, but you need the knowledge of where the sun is in the sky to account for the difference.
Gotcha.
Which would require some advanced knowledge that he wouldn't have had in those days.
That's crazy. I love learning stuff like that.
It blew my mind when I first heard it. I honestly thought, like, we wouldn't have even thought the Earth was round until after we realized we lived in a heliocentric solar system, but it's amazing.
It's very cool. All right, guys, so if you have some geeky questions that you want Ryan to answer because he's like an encyclopedia, leave them in the comments below, and hopefully he can tackle them. And I hope you enjoyed this. Hopefully it wasn't too boring. Thank you so much for helping me kind of try to get back into filming. It's definitely been...
We didn't do my makeup, though. I thought that was the deal.
You want some lipstick or something?
No, maybe later. But
that's true. You could be explaining something while I do your makeup. It could be so...
That's right, yeah.
So, like, distracting.
It would be less distracting to the camera, too, than me trying to write on a white surface.
And seeing me in the corner trying to do my makeup. So sorry if that was super distracting.
I learned a lot about makeup.
All right, well, hopefully you will see more of these types of videos. All right, that's it for this video. I hope you enjoyed it. Now go have yourself an awesome day.